Step into the world of Aunt Clara Thompson, a devoted community guardian in the heart of Ridgewood Heights, USA. This story follows her journey as she uncovers the hidden systems, rules, and ordinances that quietly protect her neighborhood. From inspecting local parks and guiding residents to participating in real-time emergency drills, Clara experiences firsthand how vigilance, knowledge, and small actions can make a huge difference. Each chapter explores a new layer of community life, observing safety procedures, coordinating responses, and connecting people to the invisible threads that hold the town together. With 15 meticulously crafted chapters, this story combines suspense, insight, and inspiration, showing how ordinary citizens can play extraordinary roles. Designed specifically for American audiences, the video immerses viewers in Clara's perspective, leaving them empowered, informed, and inspired. Watch as Aunt Clara transforms from a curious neighbor into a trusted guardian, and discover the true power of awareness and responsibility. The sun rose slowly over Ridgewood Heights, spilling golden light across quiet streets, manicured lawns, and the familiar brick houses that lined the avenues. Aunt Clara Thompson stood on her front porch, notebook clutched in her hands, taking a deep breath. Today marked the first step of a journey she had been anticipating for weeks, a journey that would reveal the hidden layers of her community, the ordinances that governed it, and the unseen systems that kept it running safely. Clara had always been observant. Even as a child, she noticed the small details, the way neighbors left their lawns neat, the precise timing of deliveries, the subtle signals of community routines. But now, she understood there was more, rules and procedures that most residents never thought about, yet they shaped daily life in ways critical to safety and harmony. Today, she would witness them firsthand. Her nephew, Jason, approached, carrying a small backpack filled with a camera, a notebook, and a thermos of coffee. "Ready for the first lesson, Aunt Clara?" he asked, his voice a mix of excitement and curiosity. Clara smiled warmly, adjusting her glasses. "I've been ready for this, Jason. I want to understand how everything works, how ordinances, systems, and people come together to keep this community safe." The two of them walked through the quiet streets toward the Ridgewood Community Center, their footsteps echoing softly. The center was a hub of activity even at this early hour. Volunteers preparing materials, monitors displaying various alerts, and staff coordinating schedules. Clara could feel the pulse of the place, a rhythm that combined precision, responsibility, and care. Officer Pierce, a calm yet authoritative figure, greeted them at the entrance. "Welcome, Aunt Clara," he said, extending a hand. "Today you'll see how ordinances and community systems operate in real time. Your role is to observe, learn, and understand. What you see here affects real people in meaningful ways." Clara nodded, her heart racing with anticipation. She followed Pierce inside, taking in the sights and sounds. Monitors flashing notifications, volunteers moving efficiently, and the subtle hum of machinery and communication that kept everything running. Each screen, each alert, each movement had a purpose. She felt both awe and responsibility. This was no ordinary day. Ava Robinson, Pierce's assistant, guided Clara to a workstation filled with monitors and control panels. Here, you'll observe incoming alerts, understand how they are analyzed, and see how field responses are coordinated. Even minor details can prevent significant problems. Clara took a seat, her fingers hovering over the keyboard, her mind racing with questions and curiosity. The first alert flashed across the monitor. Safety verification required at local elementary school. Clara leaned in, observing the precise steps taken to verify compliance. Each click, each confirmation, each communication was purposeful. Jason whispered from behind, "This is incredible. You can see how everything connects, right?" Clara nodded, eyes fixed on the screen. "Yes, it's like watching an invisible web of protection. Every ordinance, every alert, every human action contributes to something much bigger than I realized." Hours passed in a blur of observation, discussion, and guided participation. Clara recorded notes, asked questions, and began to notice patterns, how minor oversights could escalate. how coordination prevented errors, and how every person in the system played a vital role. By the end of the morning, Clara leaned back in her chair, taking a deep breath. She felt exhilarated, inspired, and aware of the weight of responsibility she had glimpsed. Ridgewood Heights was more than just a collection of homes and streets. It was a living, breathing network of people, rules, and actions working together. Jason smiled at her. "Looks like you're already thinking like a guardian, Aunt Clara." Clara returned his smile, determination shining in her eyes. "I think this is just the beginning, Jason. There's so much more to see, understand, and protect." The morning fog lingered over Ridgewood Heights, softening the outlines of the familiar brick homes and leafy streets. Aunt Clara Thompson walked briskly down the sidewalk, notebook in hand, her mind replaying everything she had seen during the previous day's observations at the community center. Each detail, from minor alerts to the precise coordination of staff and volunteers, had left a profound impression on her. Today, she was determined to take that understanding a step further by witnessing the systems at work in the public spaces she passed every day. Jason jogged up beside her, balancing his camera and a folder of notes. "You look focused, Aunt Clara. Are you ready for day 2? Clara smiled, adjusting her glasses. "I've been thinking all night, Jason. There's so much more to learn. Yesterday gave me insight into the system itself, but today I want to see how it affects real people, how ordinances translate into safety in our everyday lives." Their destination was the Central Park of Ridgewood Heights, a hub for families, joggers, and weekend events. Volunteers and staff had already begun preparing for a safety inspection and demonstration of compliance protocols. Clara could feel the quiet hum of energy as she approached. A swing set being checked for stability, signs being inspected for visibility, and trash bins being positioned in accordance with municipal guidelines. Officer Pierce met them at the entrance. "Good morning, Aunt Clara. Today you'll observe how public ordinances are implemented on the ground and how small lapses can have significant consequences. Pay attention to both human and systemic factors." Clara nodded, opening her notebook. She followed Pierce and Ava Robinson through the park, absorbing every detail, the way volunteers documented their findings, how staff communicated minor issues, and how the systems in place worked to prevent accidents before they occurred. A young boy ran toward a swing, and Clara noticed a minor misalignment in one of the harnesses. She pointed it out to Ava. "It's small," she said, "but could cause problems if ignored." Ava made a quick note on her tablet. "Exactly, Aunt Clara. That's why your perspective is valuable. You notice what others might miss." Jason observed quietly, impressed. "You've got an eye for detail. It's amazing to see how even a single swing can be part of a much bigger safety system." Clara smiled faintly, jotting down her observations. "Everything is connected, Jason, from playground equipment to emergency alerts. The chain of safety depends on every link functioning properly." Throughout the morning, Clara guided herself through multiple areas of the park, observing volunteers and staff performing checks, recording data, and correcting minor issues. Each step reinforced her understanding of the invisible threads that connected ordinances, human responsibility, and community safety. By noon, Clara leaned against a bench, taking a deep breath. She could see families enjoying the park, oblivious to the careful systems protecting them, yet benefiting from them. "It's incredible," she whispered to Jason. "Everything we've learned, it's not theoretical. It really matters. People's lives are safer because of this attention to detail." Jason nodded, capturing her reflection with his camera. "And you're becoming part of that protection, Aunt Clara. Even just by observing and understanding, you're helping ensure it works better." Clara smiled, a renewed sense of purpose shining in her eyes. "I want to take what I've seen and ensure it strengthens every part of our community. This park is just one example. There's so much more to observe, understand, and guide." As they left the park, the afternoon sun cut through the lingering fog, illuminating Ridgewood Heights in a warm glow. Clara felt her confidence growing,
her observations sharpening, and her role as a silent guardian of her community beginning to take shape.
The sun climbed higher, warming the streets of Ridgewood Heights as Aunt Clara Thompson stepped off the sidewalk and into the town's central library. Unlike the bustling parks and open spaces, the library offered a quiet refuge, filled with rows of books, informational posters, and a small staff dedicated to community education. Clara's goal today was to observe how knowledge of ordinances and local rules was shared with residents, particularly younger audiences who would benefit from understanding safety procedures and civic responsibilities. Jason followed closely, carrying his camera and a small notebook. "You really enjoy this part, don't you?" he asked. Clara smiled, adjusting her glasses. "Yes, Jason, systems and procedures are important, but education ensures their long-term effectiveness. If people don't understand the rules, even the best ordinances can fail." Inside, the library staff had prepared a workshop for local teenagers, teaching them about community safety, emergency procedures, and the importance of following city ordinances. Clara watched as volunteers led interactive sessions, using demonstrations, props, and role-playing exercises to engage participants. Officer Pierce greeted her with a nod. "Aunt Clara, this is where ordinances meet education. Today, you'll see how knowledge empowers residents and strengthens our community." Clara leaned against a table, taking notes. She observed the students' reactions, curiosity, engagement, and moments of surprise when they learned the practical consequences of seemingly simple rules. A minor example, such as properly maintaining a bike helmet or reporting a small hazard, could prevent significant accidents. Jason whispered, "It's amazing to see the difference knowledge makes. Look at them. Everyone's paying attention, and they're learning how to protect themselves and others." Clara nodded. "Exactly. Ordinances aren't just about restrictions, they're about guidance and protection. Education bridges the gap between rules and real-world application." Throughout the morning, Clara participated in discussions, asked questions, and offered insights from her observations in the parks and community spaces. She began to see how education, compliance, and enforcement formed a continuous loop, each element reinforcing the other. A young student approached her, curiosity shining in his eyes. "Why do we have so many rules about the town?" he asked. Clara knelt to his level. "Rules exist to keep everyone safe. Some protect the environment, some protect people, and some make sure our town works smoothly. Learning them helps you stay safe and help others too." By midday, Clara's notebook was filled with reflections, diagrams, and ideas. She realized that knowledge was a powerful tool, sometimes more impactful than enforcement itself. If residents understood ordinances and safety procedures, they could act responsibly and prevent problems before they arose. As Clara and Jason stepped back outside, the sun now shining brightly, Clara felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had witnessed how awareness, education, and practical engagement strengthened community safety. Ridgewood Heights wasn't just a town with rules. It was a living system of informed, connected residents supported by ordinances and thoughtful guidance. Jason smiled at her. "You're really piecing everything together, Aunt Clara. You see the systems, the rules, and the people. They all connect." Clara returned his smile, feeling the quiet pride of understanding deepening within her. "Yes, Jason, and I'm ready to see even more, learn more, and ensure this knowledge spreads. Our community can only grow stronger if everyone understands the threads that hold it together." The early afternoon sun warmed the streets of Ridgewood Heights as Aunt Clara Thompson approached the town's fire station. Today was different from previous visits. Instead of observing parks, workshops, or library sessions, Clara would witness emergency preparedness and field operations firsthand. She felt a flutter of anticipation. This was where ordinances, training, and real-world application merged into action. Jason carried his camera and notebook, walking beside her. "You ready for this one, Aunt Clara? I heard things can get intense." Clara adjusted her glasses, her expression determined. Intense or not, Jason, this is exactly what I need to see. The ordinances we've learned about exist for a reason. Today, I want to understand how they protect people in real situations. Inside the fire station, firefighters moved efficiently, preparing equipment and reviewing protocols. Officer Pierce and Ava Robinson greeted Aunt Clara with nods. Welcome, Aunt Clara. Today you'll observe emergency response drills, learn about ordinance compliance in action, and see how field teams operate under pressure. Every procedure has a purpose. Pay attention to the details. Clara followed closely, noting the layout of the station, the organization of equipment, and the precision of the teams. A simulated alarm sounded. Minor chemical spill reported at Maple Street Industrial Site. Within seconds, teams donned protective gear, loaded equipment into trucks, and coordinated via radio communication. Clara observed the choreography of every action, the speed, accuracy, and teamwork required to prevent escalation. Jason whispered, impressed, "It's like watching a well-oiled machine. Everyone knows exactly what to do." Clara nodded, taking notes. "It's incredible. Ordinances provide the rules, but training and teamwork are what make them effective. A delay or misstep could have consequences." Throughout the drill, Clara engaged with volunteers and staff, asking questions about decision-making, communication, and compliance with safety rules. She saw firsthand how minor errors were corrected immediately, how situational awareness prevented problems, and how residents were integrated into the response system when needed. One firefighter explained, "Even the smallest action matters. Reporting a hazard early, checking equipment, following protocols, it all prevents accidents." Clara smiled, jotting down her reflections. It's remarkable how interconnected everything is. Each rule, each ordinance, each trained action contributes to the safety of every resident. As the drill concluded, Officer Pierce addressed Clara. "Your observations are sharp and thoughtful. You notice details that sometimes get overlooked, and your perspective helps us refine procedures and train civilians effectively." Clara felt a quiet pride. "Thank you, Officer Pierce. I'm beginning to see that protection isn't just about rules. It's about people understanding, cooperating, and acting responsibly." Stepping outside, Clara breathed deeply. The afternoon air felt fresh and invigorating. Jason glanced at her. "You're really connecting the dots now, Aunt Clara. Systems, people, ordinances, they all work together." Clara nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "Yes, Jason, and this is just the beginning. There's still so much more to observe, learn, and guide. Ridgewood Heights is full of lessons, and I intend to understand them all." The morning air in Ridgewood Heights was crisp, carrying the faint scent of freshly cut grass and blooming flowers. Aunt Clara Thompson walked along the streets, her notebook in hand, reflecting on the experiences of the previous days. Parks, libraries, and the fire station had all shown her different facets of the town's safety network. Today, however, she was going to see how emergency preparedness and ordinance compliance worked on a larger, multi-neighborhood scale. Jason jogged beside her, adjusting his camera strap. "I heard today's exercise covers several sectors at once," he said. Clara nodded, determination in her eyes. "Yes, Jason, we've seen isolated operations, but today I'll understand how the town responds when multiple systems interact simultaneously. This will show the real strength of Ridgewood Heights." They arrived at the Community Operations Command Center, a hub buzzing with activity. Operators monitored dozens of screens, each displaying live feeds from different neighborhoods, sensors, and emergency alerts. Volunteers moved quickly, coordinating with field teams, while Officer Pierce briefed Clara and Jason on the plan. "Good morning, Aunt Clara," Pierce said. "Today you'll observe a large-scale simulation involving several neighborhoods. You'll see how ordinances, communication, and field operations interact to protect residents. Pay attention to timing, coordination, and response strategies." Clara followed him through the control room, marveling at the synchronized efficiency.
The first alert appeared: simulated gas leak in Sector 7B. Operators immediately dispatched field teams, checked sensor data, and communicated with local residents. Clara watched closely, noting how each decision affected multiple areas. Jason whispered, impressed, "It's like watching a live puzzle being solved. Every piece matters." Clara nodded, jotting detailed notes. Exactly. Even a small miscommunication could ripple through multiple neighborhoods. Every action has weight and consequence. Throughout the morning, multiple scenarios unfolded: minor flooding, traffic accidents, and structural hazards. Clara observed the operators' swift adjustments, the volunteers' calm guidance, and the field team's precision. She saw how ordinances were implemented in real time, ensuring compliance while protecting residents' safety. Ava Robinson guided Clara to a secondary console where she could monitor alerts directly. This is your chance to see how data flows through the system. Watch how decisions are made and coordinated across sectors. Clara leaned in, her fingers hovering over the controls, absorbing every step. She realized the importance of redundancy, communication protocols, and the human element in ensuring safety. This wasn't just about rules, it was about understanding, awareness, and proactive action. By midday, the simulation concluded, and Pierce addressed Clara. "Your observations have been sharp. You've noticed both strengths and potential weaknesses in our procedures. This insight helps us refine our operations." Clara smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "Thank you. Today showed me that safety isn't isolated. It's a network of people, procedures, and community awareness. Each part depends on the others, and understanding that network is crucial." As she and Jason walked outside, the sun broke through scattered clouds, illuminating Ridgewood Heights. Clara felt a surge of purpose. Her understanding of the town, its ordinances, and its systems had deepened, and her role as a silent guardian was becoming clearer with every step. Chapter 5 closed with Aunt Clara Thompson moving forward, notebook full of observations, mind brimming with ideas, and heart committed to protecting the community she had come to cherish. The afternoon sun bathed Ridgewood Heights in a warm, golden light as Aunt Clara Thompson made her way to the local town hall, a hub where ordinances were drafted, debated, and implemented. Unlike parks, libraries, or emergency drills, this setting offered Clara a glimpse into the decision-making processes that shaped her community. Today, she would see how rules were created, enforced, and refined, and how every resident's safety depended on careful planning and collaboration. Jason followed closely, notebook and camera at the ready. "Town hall meetings aren't usually this exciting, are they?" he asked with a grin. Clara smiled, adjusting her glasses. "You'd be surprised, Jason. Every decision made here affects the lives of thousands. Understanding how ordinances originate and evolve is essential to seeing the bigger picture." Inside, the hall was alive with activity. Staff and volunteers coordinated with city officials, preparing documents, maps, and reports for review. Officer Pierce greeted Clara at the entrance. "Aunt Clara, today you'll observe the administrative side of community safety. Drafting ordinances, reviewing compliance data, and planning procedures may seem mundane, but it is critical to the protection of every resident." Clara took a seat, notebook open, as a council member presented updates on recent safety initiatives. Discussions ranged from park maintenance standards to fire code enforcement, each connected to broader safety protocols. Clara noticed how every minor adjustment in wording could impact compliance and effectiveness. Jason whispered, "So, the wording really matters, huh?" Clara nodded. "Yes, a single ambiguous line can create confusion, delay response, or weaken enforcement. Precision and clarity are everything." Throughout the morning, Clara observed debates, feedback sessions, and reviews of real incidents. Staff members explained how ordinances were tested against actual events, showing where adjustments had prevented hazards or improved response times. Clara realized that these meetings weren't just paperwork. They were the backbone of the town's safety network, shaping procedures that would protect residents every day. A volunteer explained, "Our role here is to bridge theory and reality. We draft rules, but we also monitor outcomes to ensure effectiveness." Clara jotted notes, fascinated by the interplay of legislation, enforcement, and real-world application. She began to see the connections between administrative decisions and field operations, how a rule debated in this room could prevent accidents in parks, streets, and public buildings. By midday, the session concluded. Pierce turned to Clara. "Your observations are insightful. You're beginning to see the chain that connects ordinances to actual safety outcomes. Few civilians notice these details, but you've caught them clearly." Clara felt a quiet pride. "Thank you, Officer Pierce. Today reinforced that safety isn't just about compliance, it's about understanding why rules exist and ensuring they work in practice." As they left the town hall, the late afternoon sun illuminated Ridgewood Heights, casting long shadows on the streets. Clara felt a growing sense of purpose. The administrative side of the town, once invisible to her, now revealed its critical importance. Each decision, discussion, and ordinance formed a web of protection she was eager to understand fully.
The morning sun cast a gentle glow over Ridgewood Heights as Aunt Clara Thompson approached the local community health center, a vital hub where public safety intersected with well-being. Unlike the parks, fire stations, or town hall, this setting revealed another layer of the town's protection network: health ordinances, preventative measures, and emergency medical preparedness. Clara felt a flutter of anticipation. She was about to see how ordinances and human care combined to protect lives. Jason walked beside her, carrying his camera. "Health center, huh? This one seems different," he said. Clara nodded. "Yes, Jason. Safety isn't only about avoiding accidents. It's also about keeping people healthy and prepared. Today, I'll see how policies, training, and communication ensure the community's well-being." Inside, nurses, volunteers, and administrators moved efficiently, preparing for a simulated medical emergency. Officer Pierce greeted them at the entrance. "Aunt Clara, today you'll observe health procedures and ordinances in practice. You'll see how preventative measures, compliance checks, and rapid response work together to protect residents." Clara followed, her eyes scanning the busy center. A simulated alert appeared. Potential chemical exposure at a local school. Assess and respond. Staff sprang into action, coordinating with field responders, informing residents, and preparing emergency kits. Clara observed the precision of each action, the clarity of instructions, the timing of notifications, and the calm yet purposeful demeanor of every team member. Jason whispered, impressed, "It's amazing how everything links together. Ordinances, health, emergencies, it's all one system." Clara nodded, jotting notes. "Exactly. Every rule, every guideline, every procedure exists to prevent harm, and education ensures people know how to respond when it matters most." Throughout the morning, Clara watched staff conduct drills, monitor vital signs, and coordinate with other emergency units. Minor simulated errors were introduced, like a delayed alert or a misread report, but the team adapted instantly, demonstrating resilience, communication, and adherence to health ordinances. A volunteer explained, "Even small oversights can escalate quickly. That's why preparation, observation, and compliance are so important." Clara realized that health ordinances were not abstract regulations. They were active tools that empowered people to act safely. Proper understanding and execution could save lives, prevent accidents, and build trust within the community. By midday, the simulation ended. Pierce addressed Clara. "Your observations were precise and insightful. You noticed details that others may overlook, and your civilian perspective strengthens our understanding of operational efficiency." Clara felt a quiet satisfaction. "Thank you. Today showed me that safety isn't only about systems or rules, it's about care,
awareness, and connecting people to the knowledge and resources they need. As she and Jason stepped outside, the sun was high, illuminating Ridgewood Heights. Clara felt her understanding deepen. Each visit, each drill, and each observation revealed more about the town's interconnected network of safety, health, and protection. The late morning sun bathed Ridgewood Heights in a soft golden glow as Aunt Clara Thompson made her way to the local neighborhood watch headquarters. After observing parks, libraries, emergency drills, town hall meetings, and public health centers, Clara was now entering a sphere where community vigilance and resident engagement intersected. Today she would see how residents themselves became the front line of safety, guided by ordinances and coordinated systems. Jason walked alongside her, camera ready. "So this is where the neighbors become heroes, huh?" he asked. Clara smiled, adjusting her glasses. "Exactly, Jason. The systems we've observed are important, but when residents actively participate, the entire network strengthens. Today, I'll see how collaboration and vigilance work in practice." Inside the headquarters, volunteers monitored communication channels, coordinated patrols, and trained new recruits. Officer Pierce greeted Clara. "Aunt Clara, this is where community engagement truly shines. Ordinances provide guidance, but residents are the ones who enact it daily. Observe how information flows, how responsibilities are assigned, and how volunteers respond to potential hazards." Clara took a seat at a monitoring station, her eyes scanning the screens showing different parts of the neighborhood. A minor alert flashed. Suspicious package reported near Elm Street. Volunteers immediately followed protocol, reporting to the authorities, coordinating the area, and communicating clearly with residents in the vicinity. Jason whispered, "Look at how fast they move. Everyone knows their role." Clara nodded, jotting notes in her notebook. "It's remarkable. Every resident, volunteer, and officer plays a part in the safety network. Without this collaboration, ordinances alone wouldn't achieve the same impact." Throughout the morning, Clara observed patrols, communication exercises, and volunteer briefings. She saw how ordinances guided actions, but how human judgment, awareness, and cooperation were just as essential. Minor issues were resolved quickly, preventing them from becoming larger problems. A volunteer approached Clara. "Your observations help us refine our training. Seeing how someone new perceives our actions gives us insight into improving procedures." Clara smiled, understanding the importance of perspective. It's all connected. Ordinances, systems, and residents working together create a resilient, responsive community. By midday, Clara reflected on this synergy she had witnessed. "I'm beginning to see the bigger picture," she told Jason. "Safety isn't about a single person, team, or ordinance. It's about the entire community functioning as one, guided by rules and awareness." Jason nodded. "And you're becoming part of that chain too, Aunt Clara. Your insight strengthens it further." As they left the neighborhood watch headquarters, the sunlight glimmered off the streets and rooftops. Clara felt a renewed sense of responsibility and determination. Ridgewood Heights wasn't just a town. It was a living, interconnected system where every action mattered. The afternoon sun poured over Ridgewood Heights, casting long shadows across the streets as Aunt Clara Thompson approached the town's traffic management center. After exploring parks, libraries, emergency drills, town hall meetings, public health, and neighborhood watch operations, today Clara would delve into a crucial layer of community safety: traffic regulations, enforcement, and real-time monitoring. She had observed how ordinances guided daily life, but traffic was where rules and human behavior intersected most visibly and sometimes most unpredictably. Jason jogged beside her, camera in hand. "I've never thought traffic could be so complicated," he said. Clara smiled, adjusting her glasses. It seems simple on the surface, but every signal, every sign, every rule is designed to prevent accidents, maintain flow, and protect lives. Today, I'll see how it all works together. Inside the center, monitors displayed live feeds from intersections, pedestrian crossings, and key arteries of the town. Staff coordinated with traffic patrols, emergency responders, and public alerts. Officer Pierce greeted Clara with a nod. "Welcome, Aunt Clara. Today, you'll observe traffic management in action. Note how ordinances are enforced, how real-time decisions are made, and how the system prevents chaos during unexpected events." Clara took a seat, her notebook open, observing operators monitoring patterns, adjusting signals, and communicating with field teams. Suddenly, an alert appeared. Accident reported at Maple and 7th Street. Within moments, traffic officers were dispatched, alerts were sent to nearby intersections to adjust signal timing, and public notifications were issued through the town's alert system. Clara watched as coordination, training, and ordinances merged seamlessly. Jason whispered, impressed. "It's incredible how fast they respond. Every second matters." Clara nodded, jotting notes. Yes, traffic ordinances aren't just about fines or compliance. They're about preventing injuries, maintaining order, and protecting lives. Every action, from an officer on the street to a signal change on a screen, is part of a larger safety network. Throughout the afternoon, Clara observed multiple scenarios: congested streets, emergency pedestrians, and school crossing management. She noted how volunteers and residents cooperated with officers, following rules and reporting minor issues before they escalated. Every detail mattered, reinforcing her growing understanding of the interconnected systems that protected the community. A traffic supervisor approached Clara. "Your perspective helps us see things from a different angle. Observing someone who hasn't been immersed in this system allows us to refine our protocols." Clara smiled. "I can see how everything is linked. Traffic, ordinances, emergency services, residents. One small failure in coordination could have ripple effects. It's amazing how the town prevents problems before they happen." By evening, Clara and Jason walked outside the center, the streets bustling with pedestrians and vehicles flowing smoothly. Clara felt a deep sense of appreciation for the layers of safety she had witnessed. Traffic management was more than rules and signals. It was a dynamic, responsive system powered by awareness, cooperation, and preparation.
The sun hung low over Ridgewood Heights, casting a warm, golden glow across the town as Aunt Clara Thompson approached the local senior community center. After observing parks, libraries, emergency drills, town hall meetings, public health initiatives, neighborhood watch operations, and traffic management, Clara was ready to witness how ordinances and safety measures affected the most vulnerable members of her community. Today's focus was clear: elderly residents and the systems that ensured their protection, independence, and well-being. Jason walked alongside her, camera ready. "This one's important too, huh?" he asked quietly. Clara nodded, adjusting her glasses. "Yes, Jason. Vulnerable residents rely heavily on rules, procedures, and proactive measures. Observing how these systems function will give me a deeper understanding of their true impact." Inside the center, staff coordinated wellness checks, medication management, and community programs designed to engage and protect seniors. Volunteers guided residents through exercise routines, safety demonstrations, and emergency response drills tailored to their needs. Clara observed carefully, taking meticulous notes. Officer Pierce greeted her warmly. "Aunt Clara, today you'll see how ordinances, health protocols, and community engagement intersect to protect older residents. Their safety requires a combination of clear rules, effective communication, and proactive attention." Clara watched as a volunteer demonstrated the proper use of medical alert devices, explaining how quick responses could prevent serious incidents. She noted the importance of clearly posted instructions, routine checks, and constant communication between staff, residents, and emergency services. Jason whispered, impressed.
It's amazing how detailed everything is. One small mistake could be dangerous for them. Clara nodded, jotting notes. Yes, every precaution, every rule, and every protocol exists to protect lives. Observing this makes me realize how ordinances serve as both guidance and safety nets for those who need them most. Throughout the morning, Clara observed interactions between staff, residents, and volunteers. Each engagement reinforced the importance of empathy, vigilance, and clear procedural implementation. Ordinances alone were insufficient. They required human understanding and careful application to be effective. A resident approached Clara, smiling warmly. It's comforting knowing people care about our safety. Rules, yes, but also the people who follow them carefully. Clara smiled back. Exactly. Safety isn't just about laws. It's about people ensuring those laws actually protect you every day. By midday, Clara felt a growing sense of purpose. I see now that every system I've observed, from parks to traffic, health, and community watch, culminates here. Protecting vulnerable residents relies on every link in the network working seamlessly. As she and Jason stepped outside, the warm afternoon light glinted off the streets, casting shadows that danced around the town. Clara felt the weight and responsibility of what she had learned, her understanding of Ridgewood Heights deepening with each observation.
The late afternoon sun painted Ridgewood Heights in soft shades of amber as Aunt Clara Thompson made her way toward the town's emergency communications hub. After exploring parks, libraries, fire drills, town hall meetings, public health initiatives, neighborhood watch operations, traffic management, and the senior center, Clara was ready to witness the nerve center of real-time emergency response. Here, she would see how ordinances, protocols, and technology converged to manage crises before they escalated. Jason walked beside her, adjusting his camera. "This feels like the heart of the town, Aunt Clara," he said. Clara nodded, adjusting her glasses. "Exactly, Jason. This is where coordination, decision-making, and response all happen simultaneously. The systems we've observed elsewhere converge here." Inside the hub, operators monitored dozens of screens, each displaying live feeds from neighborhoods, traffic intersections, parks, and public buildings. Sensors reported anomalies, alarms indicated potential hazards, and volunteers coordinated with first responders across the town. Clara marveled at the organized chaos, noting the precision and efficiency of every movement. Officer Pierce greeted her. "Aunt Clara, today you'll observe how real-time information flows through our systems. Ordinances guide procedures, but here, timing, clarity, and coordination save lives." Clara took a seat at a monitoring console, eyes scanning multiple feeds. An alert flashed. Simulated chemical leak at downtown industrial site. Field teams were immediately dispatched, residents nearby were notified, and traffic systems adjusted to prevent congestion. Clara watched every decision in action unfold, noting how each layer of the community's preparedness was activated simultaneously. Jason whispered, impressed. "It's like a live orchestra. Everyone knows their part, and it all comes together perfectly." Clara smiled, jotting detailed notes. "Yes, and each part relies on the others. Technology, ordinances, and human judgment work hand in hand to prevent disasters." Throughout the afternoon, multiple scenarios were simulated: minor fires, traffic disruptions, and localized power outages. Clara observed how operators anticipated complications, volunteers responded, and communication channels ensured smooth coordination. Each scenario highlighted the interdependence of the town's systems. A senior operator approached Clara. "Your observations give us a fresh perspective. Seeing the network through your eyes helps us refine procedures and improve training for both staff and residents." Clara nodded, understanding the importance of perspective. Every layer of this system matters. Ordinances alone don't prevent crises. It's the coordinated application of rules, training, and awareness that does. By evening, the hub grew quieter as drills concluded and operators prepared reports. Clara reflected on what she had witnessed. Ridgewood Heights' safety wasn't the result of a single team, ordinance, or system.
It was a living network of people, rules, and technology, all acting in concert to protect the community.
The early evening sun cast long shadows across Ridgewood Heights as Aunt Clara Thompson made her way to the town's emergency supply depot. After days of observing parks, libraries, fire drills, town hall meetings, public health initiatives, neighborhood watch operations, traffic management, the senior center, and the communications hub, Clara was ready to see how resources, logistics, and preparedness materials supported the town's safety network. Today, she would witness the unseen backbone that ensured residents could rely on the town in times of crisis. Jason walked beside her, carrying his camera and notebook. "So this is where all the supplies are kept? Feels important," he said. Clara nodded. "Absolutely, Jason. Planning, storage, and distribution are critical. Ordinances can guide procedures, but without resources, response efforts would falter." Inside the depot, shelves were stocked with emergency equipment, first aid kits, portable generators, water supplies, and protective gear. Volunteers and staff organized, inventoried, and prepared packages for distribution in case of natural disasters or community emergencies. Clara observed the precision of their system, every item labeled, tracked, and ready for immediate deployment. Officer Pierce greeted her. "Aunt Clara, today you'll see how preparedness works behind the scenes. The supply chain, logistics, and timely deployment are just as important as field response. Everything here is tied to ordinances and emergency planning protocols." Clara walked along the aisles, jotting notes. She marveled at the level of organization and foresight. Each package, checklist, and protocol represented a layer of protection, ensuring the town could respond effectively in any scenario. Jason whispered, impressed, "It's incredible how much planning goes into something most people never see." Clara nodded. "Exactly. Safety isn't just what we observe in parks or traffic, it's what's prepared, stored, and ready before a problem even occurs. This depot is the unseen shield of Ridgewood Heights." Throughout the afternoon, Clara observed volunteers performing mock deployments, checking expiration dates, and rehearsing distribution procedures. She saw how small errors were corrected immediately and how clear documentation ensured efficiency and accountability. Each detail, she realized, was vital to maintaining the integrity of the town's safety network. A logistics coordinator approached her. "Your perspective helps us notice what might be overlooked. Understanding how an outsider perceives our operations allows us to improve clarity and efficiency." Clara smiled. "It's remarkable. Every system I've observed, parks, traffic, fire drills, health, neighborhood watch, relies on resources. This depot is the foundation that makes all our observations possible." By evening, the depot's operations concluded, and Clara and Jason stepped outside. The sun was low, casting a golden hue over Ridgewood Heights. Clara felt a sense of quiet pride and understanding. Safety wasn't just ordinances, personnel, or procedures. It was also about preparation, foresight, and readiness. The streets of Ridgewood Heights were quiet in the late afternoon, as Aunt Clara Thompson made her way to the town's disaster response training grounds. After observing parks, libraries, fire drills, town hall meetings, public health centers, neighborhood watch, traffic management, senior centers, emergency communications, and the supply depot, Clara was now stepping into a space where simulation and practice prepared the community for worst-case scenarios. Today's focus would be hands-on observation of drills, exercises, and strategic coordination. Jason followed closely, camera slung over his shoulder. "This one looks intense, Aunt Clara. Are they going to simulate real disasters?" Clara adjusted her glasses and nodded. "Yes, Jason. Training ensures that ordinances and protocols aren't just theoretical, they are actionable. Watching practice prepares me to understand the depth of planning and response required." Inside the training grounds, teams moved with precision through simulated scenarios, collapsed structures, chemical hazards, and mass evacuation exercises.
Volunteers coordinated with emergency responders, practicing communication, triage, and logistical deployment under controlled stress. Clara observed closely, notebook in hand, noting the critical role of timing, coordination, and clarity. Officer Pierce graded her at the entrance. And Clara, here you'll see how theory meets practice. Ordinances guide us, but drills ensure we're ready to respond effectively. Pay attention to every step. Minor mistakes in practice can highlight major improvements. Clara leaned forward as a simulation began. A mock fire broke out in a training building. Smoke machines filled the area while responders executed evacuation procedures. Volunteers ensured that residents, or in this case actors, were guided safely out while communications relayed updates to the command center. Clara observed the synchronization and attention to every detail, realizing that preparedness relied on both rules and human judgment. Jason whispered, "It's amazing how much goes into this. Every person knows exactly what to do." Clara nodded, jotting notes rapidly. Yes, ordinances are only part of the picture. Training, practice, and real-time application make the community resilient. Observing these drills shows how preparedness prevents chaos in actual emergencies. Throughout the afternoon, multiple drills ran concurrently: traffic reroutes, field triage, chemical containment, and crowd control. Clara observed the interplay of communication, coordination, and compliance. She realized that every ordinance, no matter how minor it seemed on paper, had a practical purpose in real-world scenarios. A volunteer trainer approached Clara. "Your perspective is valuable. Seeing the drills through fresh eyes helps us refine procedures, ensuring clarity and efficiency for real emergencies." Clara smiled, understanding the depth of their work. It's impressive. Every detail matters, from how volunteers communicate to how responders act. This is the culmination of everything I've been learning. By evening, the drills concluded, and Clara and Jason stepped outside. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow across the training grounds. Clara felt a sense of achievement and clarity. She had seen how ordinances, training, and coordination combined to protect the community when it mattered most.
The evening light cast long, gentle shadows across Ridgewood Heights as Aunt Clara Thompson walked toward the town's central coordination hub for community events. After days of observing parks, libraries, emergency drills, town hall meetings, public health centers, neighborhood watch, traffic management, senior centers, emergency communications, supply depots, and disaster training grounds, Clara's focus today was on how ordinances and safety measures are integrated into large-scale public gatherings. Festivals, parades, and community events presented unique challenges that required precise planning and coordination. Jason walked beside her, adjusting his camera. "This is where all the rules meet the public, right? I imagine it's tricky to keep everything safe with so many people." Clara smiled, adjusting her glasses. "Exactly, Jason. Ordinances alone aren't enough. Coordination, volunteer training, and contingency planning are essential to prevent hazards when crowds gather." Inside the hub, staff and volunteers prepared for a simulated town festival. Emergency exits were mapped, medical stations set up, and communication channels tested. Clara observed the detailed checklists and rehearsals, noting the meticulous attention to signage, crowd control barriers, and accessibility compliance. Officer Pierce greeted her. "Aunt Clara, today you'll see how ordinances, planning, and field operations work together to protect large gatherings. Pay attention to how every action, from traffic flow to emergency response, is pre-planned." Clara watched as volunteers practiced directing foot traffic, managing entry points, and communicating with security and medical teams. She noted how contingency plans anticipated potential hazards, from overcrowding to minor medical incidents. Each precaution was guided by local ordinances, ensuring legal compliance while prioritizing public safety. Jason whispered, "It's incredible how much effort goes into making it look effortless for the attendees." Clara nodded, jotting detailed notes. "Yes, the success of any public event relies on preparation, adherence to rules, and coordination.
Even small oversights could create significant risks. Throughout the evening, Clara observed scenario drills, communication exercises, and coordination meetings. She noticed how volunteers were trained to respond calmly and efficiently, ensuring safety while minimizing disruption. Clara realized that these events highlighted the practical implementation of ordinances on a large scale, reinforcing her understanding of the town's interconnected safety systems. A senior coordinator approached Clara. "Your perspective is insightful. Seeing our planning through fresh eyes helps us refine processes and ensure smooth operations for real events." Clara smiled, understanding the importance of perspective. "It's impressive. Every ordinance, procedure, and precaution contributes to a seamless and safe experience for the community." By dusk, preparations concluded, and Clara and Jason stepped outside. The fading sunlight illuminated Ridgewood Heights, casting a serene glow over the town. Clara felt a profound sense of understanding. Ordinances, planning, training, and community engagement worked together to create safe, enjoyable public spaces.
The night sky had begun to settle over Ridgewood Heights, stars twinkling faintly as Aunt Clara Thompson walked along the quiet streets, notebook in hand. After 2 weeks of detailed observations, parks, libraries, fire drills, town hall meetings, public health centers, neighborhood watch operations, traffic management, senior centers, emergency communications, supply depots, disaster training grounds, and public event coordination, Clara was ready to reflect on the entire network of ordinances, systems, and human engagement that kept her town safe. Today was about connecting the dots and understanding the culmination of all she had seen. Jason walked beside her, camera ready but silent. "This is it, Aunt Clara. The final chapter of your journey," he said softly. Clara smiled, her gaze sweeping over Ridgewood Heights. "Yes, Jason, and it's more than just observations. It's understanding how all the pieces work together. Every ordinance, every volunteer, every protocol has a purpose. It's like watching the town breathe safely." She paused near the central square, notebook open, recalling each chapter of her exploration. The parks where minor hazards were corrected, libraries where knowledge empowered residents, fire drills and emergency simulations where timing and coordination saved lives, town hall meetings where ordinances were refined, health centers protecting vulnerable populations, neighborhood watch volunteers maintaining vigilance, traffic systems preventing chaos, supply depots ensuring readiness, and large-scale event planning safeguarding gatherings. Officer Pierce appeared beside her. "Aunt Clara, your observations have been invaluable. You've seen the town's systems in action, understood how ordinances operate, and recognized the critical role of human participation. Few civilians appreciate the depth of this network like you do." Clara nodded thoughtfully. "It's remarkable. Safety isn't a single system. It's an ecosystem. Ordinances are the backbone, but the people, training, resources, and communication are what bring it to life." Jason adjusted his camera, capturing the quiet determination on her face. "You've seen it all, the invisible threads that connect every aspect of Ridgewood Heights. You understand what keeps this town safe." Clara smiled faintly. "Yes, Jason, and that understanding brings responsibility. Knowledge without action is useless. Observing isn't enough. I want to share these lessons, guide improvements, and ensure our systems grow stronger." As the evening deepened, Clara walked the streets she had come to know intimately, reflecting on the complexity, coordination, and care that kept Ridgewood Heights protected. Every detail mattered, every action had a purpose, and every ordinance, no matter how minor, contributed to the town's resilience. By the time she reached the edge of the Central Park, she felt a sense of quiet fulfillment. She had traced the invisible threads linking ordinances, residents, and systems, and she understood how the town's safety network functioned as a living, dynamic whole. Chapter 15 closed with Aunt Clara Thompson standing beneath the soft glow of the streetlights, notebook full of insights,
mind clear with understanding, and heart committed to continuing her role as a vigilant and informed guardian of Ridgewood Heights. The journey had ended, but her responsibility, knowledge, and dedication to the community would carry forward into every future day.